your butt.
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! No. So together we're the Three Amigos.
Right here. Stop.
What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
It's getting hot in here. Is it just me?
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
What happened?
Hey!
Sorry.
You were so into the music, you had it playing in the background.
Good stuff.
Sorry about that.
New music, new little clips, always fun here and after the weekend. Well, we talked on Saturday, so how was your Sunday?
Are you talking to me or Beard?
Mine was very lazy. Very lazy. The best kind of Sunday.
Yeah, awkward. Exactly, Kat.
Yeah. Mine was pretty lazy as well.
Ubaldo says, "Hey, Beard," and he also says, "Hey, hello" to everyone else.
Hello, Ubaldo. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and Kat's here. It's good to see her. She's always fun to always stop by.
Catastrophe.
Yeah, we got Geek Talk. Look at that.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks
Good
for
to
being
see
here.
you. We got to have him on again. I think he's back doing YouTube again. And Patrick.
Oh. Hey, Patrick. Oh, there's my wife.
Yep, the wife. All right, so we are on the end of our journey. We're tired. We're depressed. We're thirsty. We need some Eagles because we're here at reviewing Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
I am. It was good. This was fun doing this. It's nice to review something and have it, truly complete it out with a franchise.
It is. It's very cool. It might. It has. Why does he always come in? Can he just say hi instead of always critiquing?
Am I coming through? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Can you all hear R2?
I can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear him?
I'm on the right mic.
All right, everyone, put a yes in the chat if you could hear R2.
He comes in here trying to be helpful and you call him out.
As long as it's not the Philadelphia Eagles trying to save you. Okay, we got some beef
Or
now.
the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, sorry about the Lions, by the way.
I know.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, at least you made it to almost the Super Bowl.
We know what it's like just to get to the edge of Mordor.
Just think about it.
You just don't get inside the volcano.
Yeah, you're like those little other. You're like I don't. What character would that be? I don't remember now. I didn't make it. The one that got shot and with a bunch of arrows.
Boromir.
Detroit did have a great season, and it was great. It's like you went to prom and you did all the great stuff. You just couldn't capitalize at the end of the night. That's all it was.
Yeah, I didn't follow that. I don't really watch.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, that got awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Oh, Ryan. Our Rogue says the NFL is like WWE. It's now all scripted. Maybe. Really? Yeah.
I've heard that claim.
Oh, Patrick's a Niners fan. Look at this.
Then
Wow, he's really coming after everybody.
kick him out of here.
Oh, you know what he should get? Okay, he gets.
Move this man!
I was gonna say, yeah, I've been hearing that about the NBA for years. So
Yeah, well, they actually had a real
fixer in the games.
incident. Yes. So before we started, I wanted to let everyone know that we do have an Instagram account, and sometimes we post funny clips. Some of the clips that you see here on the show. But I thought this one we might get a little. Hopefully, we don't get a copyright for it. But I thought this one was fun that I created. But keep your eye out. There's something special in here. What was that?
It was hideous.
What was that? Was that a dwarf that I saw there?
My question is, how tall is the tallest dwarf, though?
How tall is the tallest dwarf? I don't know. He looks pretty tall. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, he's pretty tall. So if you're on Instagram, you can follow our funny reels. Or how silly we are, but this is something I found the other day.
Are you the Keebler dwarf?
I don't know that size. He can't fit inside the tree.
Yeah, you're 2 hobbits tall. There you go.
That's right. It's really just 2 hobbits in a coat, in a raincoat.
I picture you. This is what you look like when you're on your everyday business when you're out there with your.
That's definitely more accurate than some of the other depiction you showed me.
I was going to say, is that you? Are you on top of Untamed Mando's shoulders?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. She got the short straw.
We're gonna have fun tonight with Return of the King, the last of the 3. I'm excited to finish this journey. I'm excited to finish this walk. Just so everyone else knows, if you're new to the channel, we did review the cartoon version of The Hobbit. So if you wanted to review that as well, or go back and watch that, you could. So again, 2003, back to back. At this time, everyone's waiting for the end. Everyone knows what Lord of the Rings is pretty much. They're just excited to see how it all kind of wraps up. Now, again, I did not read the books. RT, you said you did not read the books. And
I did not. And it's, unfortunately, still have not. I would like to be able to read them one day. Maybe I'll find time, but
yeah. And I if you heard from last streams, I read them after I saw the movie. So yeah, I did not know the ending of this either.
Yep.
The one thing I was really amped up about, I was like, oh man, how are they going to end it? Like, how are they going? Is Frodo just going to jump into the pit? Like, what's going to happen with everybody? You did have, they took down the like, I don't know, the Sudu, that's the bad guy that wasn't really the bad guy, and now they're going after the real one. You've got a crazy king on the other side of the world that doesn't want to help his kingdom because his sons are dead, and all kinds of stuff. So it's a big movie. This alone could just, if they did it by itself, it would be a masterpiece, which it was. So
yeah. I mean, it does kind of, because they have so many stories they have to wrap up. It does end like 3 or 4 times, but
it does wrap. Yeah, you are right. I do remember sitting in the movie, like, oh, cool.
There's part of me, if I'm like, should I say it now or should I wait till the end before I say it?
Let's wait.
Okay,
I'll
wait. Okay. But I do have like questions like, in the book, was Sauron always, other than the very beginning of the story, was he always that eye, or was that just for the film to give a representation? Like, did he ever come back in any type of form in the book?
I think yes. I can't. It's been a while, but yeah, I think I'm gonna say yes. But there might be people in the chat that might know the answer. So, but I guess in the movie they showed him as the eye. But yeah, he always saw everything pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right when you watch it, there's so much going on you don't really think, but then that is kind of something when I think about when I look back at it, it's like I feel like it would have been more epic to have had him return in a bodily form, right, and had to fight somebody like what happened to Aragorn's ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that didn't happen again is kind of like I feel like a little surprising. I'm just saying, like now that like I said afterwards, thinking about it,
I
it
mean, he was
doesn't
just
ruin the film, doesn't make it bad. It's just one of those things.
right.
No, I
That's
mean,
such
I think
a-
he's built up as such a powerful evil that they kind of have to ground him someplace. Otherwise, he would just walk right through the armies and destroy them all. It was kind of a fluke in the beginning. Whenever the ring is taken from it, it's kind of a fluke that he got defeated.
Gotcha.
Tolkien says here, Kat says Tolkien never fully described him in the books. So
Appreciate that, Kat. Thank you.
hey,
What's up, Aaron?
Hello, Aaron. Thanks for being here.
he's just that evil spirit, right? You know.
Yeah.
So
Who, Sauron or Aaron?
both. So yeah, so he's just there, right? You can feel him, you can hear him, you can kind of see him sometimes when he
Right.
wants to be seen. So yeah, it's just this again there wasn't quite a bit of walking in this movie. There wasn't. They kind of shortened the journeys. There was more fighting. There was like two or three battles happening all at once. You had Frodo and Sam just trying to get to. They're right at the gate, right? They're trying to get into the flaming volcano with Gollum, and you got a lot. You do have a lot going on, so it does make sense that they had a lot.
You're
of
like
endings.
5 yards from the end zone, trying to drive it in.
Yeah, like I said, yeah. Stopping in to say hi. Hey,
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks. Good to see you.
They're doing Snatch Over on their channel tonight.
They're what?
I said they're reviewing Snatch Over on their channel tonight.
Oh, okay.
You like dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I like dogs.
And I think with this movie, a lot of people thought it was like because it was ending, that they would get a lot of recognition on this movie. Like they would find, because there was a lot of times where is this the movie that's going to get picture of the year? Is this the movie are they going to treat it all as one movie and just give everything out, right? So I do remember discussions like that with this movie, because I think they did get snubbed on a few those other two, but the first two, because they knew that they might just treat it as one. And you could treat this all as one giant long movie. So
I got to imagine that somebody has cut that together.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, that's
how many VHS tapes would that be?
7. That's what, like 10 and a half hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Vader, a friend of the channel over at Salt and Nerd, he said that he started watching the Fellowship in the morning on one day, and he watched the whole thing from start to finish, all the way to Return of the King. And he finished, around like 11 o'clock night. So you have to be pretty dedicated.
Oh yeah.
So if you can remember, when you were going to this movie theater, were you kind of excited to end it, or were you kind of like bummed out knowing this would be the last movie?
I was excited for it. I mean, because I think the fact that I knew it was the end of it. It wasn't like this was like a newer product where it's like, is it the end? Or so I mean, the fact that it was a completion of the story, I was excited to see how it ended. And
right.
But it's one of those things too. It's funny. It's like I was excited, but I still knew like they're gonna succeed, right?
Maybe.
In
the book, Sauron was a body that placed restlessly on top of the tower.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Okay.
guess the giant eye is probably better than just seeing somebody stomp back and forth on a tower, pacing back and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped to see this. I don't think I was really worried about anything not continuing, because I'm one that's completely okay with stories ending. The story that never has an ending is usually one that gets watered down as you go on.
Uh-huh. No, I agree with that. I felt the same way. I felt that cool. We're gonna get some things are gonna get wrapped up here, right? So, one thing that got told to us that I was kind of shocked by and interested in was the creation of Gollum. And this is in the beginning of the film. This is where they tell his story, and it's like the first 30 minutes. But they do explain his story, where he came from, how he got to the ring, and how he turned into what he is today. One more thing here. Eyes first for the movies. He referred to an eye of Sauron in the books, but never indicated it was a physical form. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Aaron just wanted to say hi. And watch the
See you,
replay
buddy.
later.
Thanks,
All right,
Aaron.
see you.
Appreciate it, buddy. I was gonna say, I mean, I liked seeing this scene. It was very exaggerated, like the special effects, like when the giant trout takes him. Well, it's probably regular sized trout, but takes him underwater. Deagle.
Dude, they're like 3 feet tall. The giant
No, I
trout
know,
will
but I mean,
take
I
them
liked
underwater.
how exaggerated it all looked.
Okay.
What's funny too is that shot of him grabbing the ring out of the water. It's in the first film, and I thought it was interesting that it's shown twice, because I assumed that was some human character grabbing it out, and then when you find out it's really from this, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, they linked it all together. It all came together
Yeah.
in one full circle. I thought that was really cool too, because I thought the
Well-
same thing, to be honest.
It was also nice to give Andy Serkis some actual screen time too.
The one kind of weird thing that I feel like watching it is how much Smeagol's voice still sounded like Golem. Like that voice didn't change. I think that's the only weird thing to me, where his voice would have been more normal, like Deagle's voice.
Oh, so it was
More,
Stupid fat hobbit.
yeah, because he still sounds like that. I would assume that would be more of like the deteriorated voice.
Well, he does
Yeah.
switch. He has his normal Smeagol voice, and then he has the, like, you know. So he does have a rasp. He does switch it on and off.
Yeah.
But you could tell how, like, okay, these were two friends, and they kind of led into what could happen with Sam and Frodo in this scene.
Yeah.
If you weren't like keen on what happens, they were two best friends. It was his birthday, and he was like, "Hey, it's my birthday. You should give me the ring. That'd be kind of cool." And they were really close, and they seemed like good friends. And this small little thing made one of them, take out the other. And a lot of us are like, "Is Sam going to do that? Is Sam, going to take the ring from Frodo?" It really kind of showed you the challenge that those two were having with not giving into this thing of this ring here. I thought that was pretty cool how they,
Yeah.
they kind of give you
plus,
a hint.
Sam and Frodo also have that pesky little Smeagol voice getting in between them and pushing all the wrong buttons and dividing them.
Yeah, because
he's like the
fighting.
personification of the ring's kind of darkness.
Yeah, they start fighting. Like, they get mad at each other for like, "Oh, did you eat all the food? Or did you? Let me hold it. No, you can't hold it. Those I'll carry the burden for you. No. It's just a lot of back and forth, and it shows how strong their friendship is or was. Not so much for these two here.
Yeah,
so I was kind of trying to find out. I mean, I wasn't able to with like any of the little research I did, but how old Smeagol is supposed to be? Like, how long did the ring keep him alive for? Like, it did that to Bilbo. It made him a lot older than he should have been for.
I don't know. It's a great question.
Or at least it made him be far more youthful in his life than a typical hobbit.
Oh,
he had the
there you
ring. Cat says he had the ring almost 5. Oops, sorry. You could hit.
Okay.
Yeah. He said he had. And
yeah, I assume
this
a few
article
hundred
here
years.
says, according to some Lord of the Rings article or fact list, he's almost 600 years old. The average lifespan of a hobbit is about 100, but the span of Gollum is like 500 or something like that. So yeah, he's pretty old.
What was the average?
Yeah, and he's
100.
Okay.
100. Yeah, but it's also he was described as hobbit-like, so he's not exactly a hobbit. He's kind of like some other race, but he's hobbit-like. But
like
that's semantics.
Hobbit-like.
Yeah, that's just how he's described. It's
like
never actually said that.
His mom was a hobbit and his dad was like a dwarf.
Because I think that would put him earlier than the time frame for like hobbits in the story, but I may be getting that wrong.
Okay.
Because there is a certain point in Lord of the Rings history that Tolkien set up where hobbits came into being, and so I don't really know exactly. I think that was probably thousands of years ago, but yeah, he's just hobbit-like.
Yeah, I think this is Nuts
Outdoors.
Nuts Outdoors. Says 600. Great name, by the way. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, and then the scene where he falls into the pit because he's so into this ring that he actually just falls into the pit with it.
Yeah, he can't even see anything else. He doesn't care about anything else. He finally has his precious. He is happy.
Yeah, and
briefly,
he's the one that actually puts it in the flaming lava. So yeah, I thought that was because Frodo wasn't going to do it.
No,
he stopped. So the fact that the one character you wouldn't think that would throw it in just did it by.
All I gotta say is if you fell into lava like that, you probably wouldn't feel it. It would.
You know what I would do? I would give a thumbs up as I'm going down.
I'm just saying it would like cauterize all your nerve endings immediately.
Yeah,
you feel nothing.
Okay. He's a river hobbit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're getting all the facts are coming at us right now. We're just.
I like it.
Yeah, we like that.
I love when the chat interacts with us like this. This is great.
Yeah, you're all gonna get of this.
Yeah, I appreciate Kat being here. Somebody's got to keep us in line and correct us when we're wrong.
River folk. Okay, that makes sense.
Where the hell are all the other dwarves in this? Are they all dead?
Beard, your family dead.
I think most of the ones that are there, because it's kind of alluded to, the dwarves would just basically sit in their mountains and hoard their gold. They don't really care about the surface world.
They don't.
So they just are keeping to their own thing. They're not threatened by it, and so
that's why Gimli's so cool, right? He's just different.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that was always something that I kind of wondered while watching these is like, why are there not any more dwarves that show up that they don't
because
encounter?
They're greedy and they just want to hang out in their hot little holes in the ground. No.
Okay. I mean, I always kind of wondered.
I mean, it just in general, this is a magical land where the magic is leaving. You literally have the elves are dying out, so they have to leave. You've got the dwarves that are burying themselves further underground and just mining gold. They don't want to have anything to do with the surface world. Basically, everything fantastical and magical is slowly leaving the world more and more to man. And that's why this fight comes down to the men, the humans.
Well, I guess the other thing, too, is just how, like, Gimli shows up. I mean, he's just by himself. It just seems like he would have had like at least another dwarf buddy with them. They always seem to like to be around their own kind. So that was like the other kind of strange thing, especially too, like after seeing, I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen the first 2 Hobbit films. So
yeah, I mean, you're right. In the Hobbit, they they traveled in a group, but they were kicked out of their home, so they had to get back to it. And then once they got back to their home, they probably never really wanted to leave. Gimli was a son of one of them, and he just probably knew because of his father's battle. So yeah, dwarves faded away. Sorry, Beard.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Be the last one.
Like I said, that was just kind of. This is one of those things where, now that we've kind of completed it, I've been thinking about this, wanting to ask this, but I wanted to wait till we got to the last.
You just been not sleeping for 3 weeks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a cool little. I'm gonna call it a wallpaper. This is pretty neat. Like it's all little nice little scenery from this movie.
I'm like, I wondered if this came from like the pinball game, because that's what that looks like. That looks like that.
It probably is.
Panel art from pinball.
You're probably right. It probably is from the pinball game.
I mean, it's a great montage of everything.
It is. I like it. So now we have the numbers, right? We have the numbers coming up. So we have something special for you all for these, but we're going to start with this movie first, and this is where you kind of help us guess the numbers. I have not looked at them, but I kind of have an idea.
11, 92, 12.
So what was the budget and what was the box office? Beard, do you want to kind of guess this real quick?
I forgot what the previous numbers were. I want to say it probably made over 900,000.
Now, I was going to say, it was funny. This one actually had a slightly different filming date to it. It had 1 month shorter.
Yeah. Okay. And we remember from the Two Towers, that one, not even in today's dollars, it made almost $1 billion.
Yeah. I'm going to say maybe 85 million budget and 900 million box office.
Okay. I'm going to go 900. Going nines. Ooh. Anybody else want to guess in the chat while we're waiting?
Yeah. Let's see what Cat's got.
Cat scrap fever. What's that other song with cats in it?
Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle, and then you've got don't something with the cash box or something, cat box or something.
No, that's Don't Rock the Casbah, not the cat box.
Don't rock the cat box. Okay.
You don't want to rock that one either because it's gonna get stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, I have not been drinking.
Why is the rum gone?
All right. Yeah. Well, so let's see if anybody says in the chat what they think. So Beard, you said 8. I
said 85 and over 900.
Okay. And if you're watching this on replay, you can put in the comments just to see what you think. Yeah. All right. So what was the budget? 94 million. In today's dollars, that'd be $166 million. That's pretty good. And then, I was closer.
Yes, you were.
And then it made $1.1 billion. So not even in today's dollars, it made $1 billion, and it almost made $2 million or $2 billion in today's dollars.
Yeah.
Technically, I was right. I said over 900 million.
You did. You're right. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. This is how big this movie was. Now I'm curious how many people, because I don't know if they did this back then, but how many people rented this movie, rented Fellowship, rented Two Towers, and then only saw this movie in the movie theater because they were trying to catch up, right? They're like, oh my gosh, like what? I missed all these movies. I wonder how many people did that.
I'd probably say that's a fairly small amount, I feel like.
Okay.
Or so, where you probably got that is kind of like, I feel like out like where I live, like you go where my dad is, and there's like,
oh my gosh,
they got like nothing.
Well, maybe they're all like Cat. They went to 3 midnight screens.
but just where like a much smaller rural areas where they make it not just really heard about it, but
I mean, yeah, maybe. I just remember, yeah, I think I saw this one a couple times in the movie theater. So probably most people saw it multiple times.
this one I probably saw the fewest. I think I only saw it twice.
It was a long movie. You had to dedicate a whole night for this.
I mean, there might have been a decent amount of people who kind of had that scenario, like you suggested, JT, because we were looking at how much they made over the previous film, which I think was like, what, 850 million. So there had to be. I mean, there's obviously multiple watchers like Cat here with 3 midnight screenings, but there's.
Well, this movie was 3.5 hours long, so you had to.
Well, I was going to say, little did they know with this runtime, this should have been the one that they rented.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a 3.5 hour movie. It was
trailers. I felt every minute of that, because when I went to the theater to see this, 5 minutes into it, despite having to use the bathroom previous, I had to go again, and I refused to leave, and I made it all the way to the end of the credits. I mean, afterwards, I did knock a couple old ladies down that were in my way, but
that is how Beard got his colostomy bag.
Jeez. So like it. I could, I do remember that. But back in the day, you had so many you had trailers, you had the little advertisements in the beginning, so you were literally going to sit here. Some people even sat to read the credits, so you were sitting here for almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
All right, so we did something special for everyone. So what we did for the numbers this time was, since it was a trilogy, we decided to show you, to kind of recap on all 3 of them, and kind of just remember how much money this thing brought in. So the Fellowship of the Ring did was 93 and 164 million. You have Fellowship of the Ring title twice, but Two Towers was that's my fault. 94 and 160 million. And then The Return of the King was 94 again and 163 million. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah. And FYI, I know I'm listing this in $2023. That's because right now those numbers to $2024 are not out yet.
Oh, okay. That's fine. What did this movie was the best midnight release ever I went to. Oh, okay. Yeah, it probably was. That was a long. You probably went to bed at like 5 a.m. So there you go. I mean, so in total, I'm guessing, which is pretty neat to see here. This thing made over almost $3 billion in 3 years. That's pretty crazy.
Right? Yeah. Well, and we talked about this with the first film, and just the fact that New Line was the one that kind of believed in the film and believed in Peter Jackson. I mean, it's something that has always been tried to have been made in Hollywood, and just nobody was willing to commit what it took to make this film. It was always something where it's like, well, we'll do the one and we'll see how it goes, and if it goes, then we'll put more into it. And it's like, you can't do that. You got to commit to all of it.
Yeah, this thing made over about $3 billion in 3 years.
And who is it? Sean Astin wrote a book about just the time filming this movie. It's just a whole book about the experience. I mean, and that
the actors dedicated a good amount of time of their life.
I mean, yeah, this film was an adventure for the main cast. I mean, that's
because they started filming in 99, right? And they wrapped up sometime around in 2000, and then they probably had to do a lot of cleanup throughout each year of each movie, because when we watched on Two Towers, when we saw that award show, Andy mentioned that they were still doing some cleanup or doing some stuff for the Return of the King.
Yeah, I want to say production started, in 97. So there's, the cast wasn't involved probably immediately in 97, but still, even before filming, there was definitely, involvement there. And
yeah, I would say the actors, the creators, the directors, the writers, I'm sure this is something they're very proud of. that they were able to accomplish this. This is a feat that I don't think they try to do it in the Hobbit movies, but it kind of didn't do as great. But I think
they didn't have much material to work with in the Hobbit.
I think this is something you're probably not going to see most often in Hollywood as a project like this.
Well, they also too, The Hobbit should have just been 2 movies, and to stretch it out into 3.
Yeah.
And I think I think the closest thing after the series of movies that came out, maybe closest to this, where they tried to keep everything together and they filmed everything, was like Harry Potter. And then you also had the original 10 years of Marvel. So, I mean, they dedicated some time.
To
complete these. Nobody would be willing to do something like this again on this scale. I don't
know if that's true, Mr. Nerdy Neo.
Yeah, that's definitely an opinion.
Yeah, maybe on a Weekend Harder we can discuss that thing right there.
I could say it is one of the best.
The best.
Maybe not the best.
Not the best.
But certainly one of the best.
We all know Surf Ninjas 1, 2, and 3 are freaking bangers.
Even though they haven't released 2 and 3 yet. They are.
No. Oh, I thought they did.
I think you're thinking of 3 Ninjas.
Was it 3 Ninjas that did 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
Okay. See.
Third one has Lonnie Anderson and Hulk Hogan in it.
Oh, Kat agrees with Neo. Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, it's the best. No, okay. All right, moving on. This is a scene that
Sorry, go ahead.
Everyone knows the Cars franchise is the greatest trilogy of time. Some say it is. Thanks for popping in, Yeti. Good
taste. Good taste.
Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, man.
What's going on?
This is a scene that Rick, you want to kind of like focus on because this was a really cool scene. I remember this in the movie. I was like, wow, this is a neat way to show Ghost and fighting, and they were on par here. So, what made you want to talk about this?
It was really. One, it was a very creepy scene because you're right. You see that moment he's looking down the between like the alleyway of these mountains. I don't know what you'd call that. And
the trench,
the crevice,
the cleavage.
Yeah, the crack of the mountains. And,
so ghosts.
And he kind of sees the one, and at first it kind of. When you see the very first one, it almost made me think of in the beginning, right? When you see the men who are given the rings, even though I know that those are the wraiths, right? But it kind of made me think that was connected there, and then when he goes in there, I mean, it's pretty freaky, the whole scene, but I mean, it is really impressive CGI work for it and for creating like undead characters. I thought it looked great. If anything, I'm like, this is what like Ghostbusters should be trying to like make their ghosts look like. Like I think
because this is like an overlaid CG skull and face on that's rendered on top of a practical shot of a real person that's then made makeup transparent.
Yeah.
So it just takes every little trick to make it work really well.
Yeah, it's a really, and the scene where they show them fighting, like
it's almost like a CGI Pepper's Ghost is how I kind of feel.
It's terrifying watching
looks. Them. Yeah.
Well, they fight almost like it's water. Like they have a very fluid motion as they go through the battle.
Yeah, because
that scene when they come off the boat, like they all three of them jump off the boat, right? And they're like, "Hey, we're here," and the guys are like, "Oh, we're gonna take you down," and all of a sudden you just see this green mass.
What is funny with what we've seen in these films, the three of them still could have jumped off that boat and taken all those guys.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm glad they had this help though, because they needed another army to fight.
I will say
they were
this
done
is definitely...
once they did their deed. They were done though. They didn't go on to the next battle.
And this almost kind of seemed to be the thing too, that like Aragorn needed to do to become who he needed to be.
Yes, that's why Gandalf sent him this way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, but why though? Like that, I was gonna say that's the one thing like I don't get. Like, why was this step such a hard step compared to all the other things that he's faced?
Because he literally he has to actually step up and be a king for the ghosts of people who betrayed his ancestor, and they didn't have enough respect for the king then to fulfill their oath and go into battle. That's why they're still haunting this place. They have to follow their king into battle to kind of be to fulfill their oath. And this is like the first time we see Aragorn step up as a king.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood because I thought they were like soldiers that had died under a Isildur, and then after he failed to destroy the ring, like they were cursed or something.
They're deserters, and so they were supposed to go into battle with Isildur, and they didn't.
Got you now.
They did not want to fight with him because they didn't respect him. Yeah, and then they deserted. So yeah, it's that, and then he was able to like convince them to, come on back, boys.
Well, plus once they fulfill that oath and he releases them from it, they can actually find peace in death.
Well, what's kind of funny too, or impressive, is like, right, he's like only like the heir to the throne, right? And he pulls a sword out and he actually can like clearly harm him with it, and it freaks him out. But they still are like ready to jump and attack him too.
Yeah, this was a really. I think I'm so glad that they were able to do this scene and create these characters, because this could have looked really hokey, right? This could have looked really bad. So I'm glad whoever was in charge of this scene. I mean, they knocked it out.
Peter Jackson just throws a bunch of white sheets over extras.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the other scene that is always on Twitter, it seems like every 6 months, this scene always comes up, is the scene where no man can kill me, and then a woman kills him. So we always see this, right? We always see this on Twitter. We always see someone saying like, this was, it
gets skewed for what's really occurring here.
Yeah,
right. It does. Yes. Most people who try to use this as some type of political thing is they don't understand that, no, this was in the book. This was already there. This was not added later. This was just really happened in the book.
This is all Tolkien.
This is all Tolkien. It has nothing to do with anything else. And she's not doing it to show that she can be a man. She's doing it to show that, like, I'm equal. This is equal as far as everybody else that's fighting out here. I can easily take you down as well. So,
well, it's I love my country. I have every right to defend it as any other soldier out here.
Right. And that's probably why fate let her take out that evil dude on the.
Yeah. Well, and right, you hear it that he's like, no man can kill me, and I mean, not only that, but right, she's trying to save her uncle. She loves her uncle. It's her family.
And she's tough too. She earns it because she takes a hit from that flail.
Yeah. Well, but even before that, the wraith dragon, whatever you call that thing, it's about to eat her uncle, and she just chops its head off in 2 chops.
Yeah.
There are a couple brutal scenes in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
She circumcised the wraith.
Oh my gosh. And also in this clip, you do see the elephants that you talked about last week. They're more in this. You see them a lot more often in here in this battle. They're pretty massive. You see guys falling off and dangling from them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, this scene was great in the movie theater. I remember this movie theater where people were almost cheered.
Yeah.
And people who read the book knew it was coming. People who didn't was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Right. So.
I also too, like, I wondered if that was truly the description of what happened to the wraith after she killed it, was the like it imploding onto itself. I thought that was
that was clever.
That was really like cool to see.
Yeah. I think Kat's saying that's a real quote in the book there. So where he says, but no living
Sure.
man I am look upon a woman. I think that's what they say in the
Oh no! I thank you for sharing that with us, Kat. I really appreciate.
No worries. You're
the info.
And
it's been having you great as the fourth co-host of the show tonight.
But they could have done this scene. They could have like Hollywood this scene, right? They could have made it really cringe, and they didn't. They decided not to. Even at the time when these movies came out, they could have made this really not impactful as it should have been. So I'm glad they were able to be honest to the books on this. All right, so another big cast. Everyone pretty much returns for the most part.
Yeah,
I really don't think there's anybody really new.
The one that I did add into there was that Ian Hughes, who plays he plays the Goblin when they've brought Frodo into the tower and they're rummaging through his stuff, and he was just so terrifying. I thought it was great, but you could like instantly recognize him by the smile there. That's who he was. But yeah, some of the extras that they had in the film, I thought were great.
Right. And then I think the other one, I think pretty much everyone came back.
I like that you included Noel Appleby down there.
Yeah,
Over Proudfoot. I actually, when I saw this in the theaters, for some reason his name stood out to me in the credits. I was like, oh, the Proudfoot guy. Oh, that's his name. And then like I was sitting around with like my parents and my siblings 2 or 3 days later playing Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit and won the game because I knew that actor's name. Just happened to see it in the credits.
That's awesome. And they do show him at the end of the movie when Frodo and Sam go back to, when they go back to the Shire. They do show his character.
They're all 4 of them are done up in their best. You know, Pippin's got his Gondor gear on, and everybody's looking real nice. And you expect kind of like the movie trope is like the heroes returning home. People are going to be like, "Oh, look at it!" And no, Proudfoot there just gives them the same old.
They don't give a crap.
He's like, "You dicks left us for 13 months."
Yeah, and that is different in the book. The Shire actually gets attacked.
Yes.
And
a lot of people don't like the fact that they didn't have Saruman come in and take over the Shire, but this movie is so long they couldn't afford to have another.
But I think it's better that way because it shows that place is still
untouched,
just by itself, secluded from all this crazy nonsense. So, but yeah, another great cast, great job again, everyone. But yeah, this is the scene you're talking about. I think that you're talking about here, Beard, where they all kind of go back. And what's interesting, that caught my eye on this was the scene where they're sitting in the bar and they're kind of just reminisce. They can tell they're reminiscing what they just been through and all the good times around them. This kind of reminds me of like soldiers returning home from war, right?
Yeah.
So like any veteran would probably recognize that exact moment that they have in the bar.
Yeah, they're totally different people from what we saw in the beginning when you see Merry and Pippin dancing on the table and singing. They've all carried a different weight with them.
That makes sense right there. They didn't want to destroy it. Yeah.
And I do have to point out, since you included the shot up there in the top left corner, I can never get through that scene with a dry eye. My friends, you bow to no one.
Yeah.
Dang it. Love it.
He's crying right now.
Well, I mean, they're right, like the 4 humblest of beings there. And,
they do change. Yeah.
I mean, like they're about to, pay respect to the friend that they made, and he stops them.
Yeah.
Pretty great moment.
Yeah.
Also, I
Where do you think they
appreciate
went?
the fact that they were like done up in their just kind of traditional Hobbit gear. They don't look fancy. They don't look like anyone should be bowing down to. Everything about that scene is perfect.
Right. Where do you think they went on that boat? Where do they think they went?
To the Undying Lands, is that what it's called? I'm sure Kat's gonna correct me. It's
Oh,
basically the elves are going home, and they're just going with the elves.
And because Frodo did this great feat, he just like Bilbo, he has to go with them. His time is done. Is basically what the elves are telling him. Okay. Yeah, it's a great.
Well, I mean, I guess nobody's really telling him that he has to. I always interpreted it as he wanted to, because he's never going to be anything kind of like who he was before, because he's carried that evil around his neck. He's got the wound that will never heal, and so I think he just doesn't believe that he fits in with his world anymore.
That's too bad, but it is similar to a war hero's journey, right?
Like I thought you wanted to go learn the secret of how to get shampoo out of your hair like the elves are able to. Because that's how they all look. You ever seen that episode of Seinfeld, Low Pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Shower, and they can't get the shampoo out of their hair? That's all their hair. Hobbits. They can't get shampoo out of their hair. Look at the elves. Perfect clean hair. They're going to teach them the secret of that and conditioner.
All right, we're going to move on to theater.
How to brush your hair 1,000 times in one direction, 1,000 times in another.
Okay, we're going to move on into theaters.
Shut your drums and stop kicking the seats! We're trying to watch the movie!
So again, this came out around Christmas again.
So funny that George was in that scene.
I know.
Yeah, perfect.
And I would have think if you were another movie in this business, you wouldn't want to go up against this movie at this time.
No.
But there were a few. So you had they re-released Two Towers the same day, so you can do the back-to-back. They did Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Well, if you look at even previously too, they had released Fellowship of the Ring.
They did, yeah. So they did they released all three, which was good on them to do because, just in case you were catching up, right? And then you had Stuck on You and Something's Got to Give. So those are all kind of romantic. I think they're rom-coms. So I don't know why they did that, but I wouldn't have done it.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go up against a powerhouse like Lord of the Rings, make it some other genre that's very different.
I guess that's true.
I mean, I can see a little bit of logic there. It does seem like a weird choice, but still.
Well, that's what most of those are. I mean, if you think about it, there is going to be some people who are like, this is just not for them. And
well, you had Bad Santa, you had Elf, which are both great Christmas movies.
Sure.
You had Master and Commander. Yeah, we reviewed that movie.
Well, then look what came out the week prior, Last Samurai.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and Mystic River down there at the bottom. So, all great stuff, all great movies, and then Matrix Revolutions. I think that's the third one as well.
Yeah.
So they had their trilogy capped off at the same time because you had Lord of the Rings, and then you had Matrix. Matrix wasn't filmed back to back, but you still had both trilogies kind of capping it off. And I think Harry Potter was into its third or fourth movie. So, but cool stuff, good stuff. Another pretty fun weekend. If you wanted to go see all three together, you could.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, look at what your choices were nearly 20 years. I mean, 20 years ago. Yeah. Not even nearly 20 years ago in the theater. I mean, I wish we had that today.
You say that every time we show this.
I know, but I'm like saying, like even 20 years ago.
He's hoping to manifest it by repeating that over and over.
Yes, I am. But even that recently, 20 years ago, you had choices at the theater and not like just one occasionally here or there. Or you were like, well, I'm bored. I guess I'll go watch this. And you're like, that sucked.
Here's another cool wallpaper you found of the movie. Yeah. That's a neat one. Where'd you find this one?
The internet.
Well, okay.
Google.
This is a neat. I think this is cool. This would be a cool like wooden painting, carving.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. Remind me of like a wooden carving to it.
And then here are some movie posters you found.
Yeah, I liked these ones too. I thought these
are cool.
Fun.
So you have
Especially the first one there, because I love you see the Fellowship, and then at the bottom you see Golem.
Mm-hmm. And they have the two towers with the flags, and then Minas Tirith. So that scene where the father like just is like, I'm done. Like I'm gonna burn my son alive, and I'm just gonna like. That was such a wild scene.
Yeah,
because there's all this stuff happening below, just a major battle happening below, and all he cares about is that he has no more sons. Well, his other son's like in a coma, not really dead, but he wants to burn him alive, and then he just runs off the cliff, and you see that little fleck of him falling when the battle's happening. No one even notices. They're just like, oh.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like, right, the son he loved was the one that died. It's like what is it? Dewey Cox and the Johnny Cash story where he's like, the wrong son died.
Yeah, but like that when they spanned out to the big battle, and all you see is that little fleck of fire. No one even cares. No one even notices. They're just like.
Well, I mean, I also kind of felt like that show just what a piece of crap he was, and nobody cared about him. Just.
Yeah, I think out of
he went mad, and what was it? The actor's name, John Noble, I think.
I mean, it's a great actor.
He did it very, very well, and I mean, he straight up says earlier in the movie when Faramir says, like, you wish that I had died and Boromir had lived, and he looks directly at his son and says yes. And then he sends him out to retake the riverfront and basically sending him on a suicide mission. And that's one of my favorite scenes way back when we did a panel over like favorite movie scenes. One of mine was when Pippin is singing and Faramir is charging back out to battle. It's very good.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat scene, and it's just you just have a lot of that in here. You really do. You all through each movies, there's a lot of scenes that impact a lot of people.
And then going back to the Army of the Dead, right? That they get to join them, right? At the end of the battle, he's like, "Okay, we killed them all. You said you'd release us." And Gimli's like, better not. You never know when these guys might come in handy again. And, it is kind of funny because, right, he releases them, and then they all end up there like, well, we got to go to Mordor, to the gates of Mordor, and, do what we can to help Frodo. And it kind of made me wonder, it's like, well, what if they still had that Army of the Dead? Like, would they have been able to have done anything? Or because they were corrupt themselves in a way, like, would have Sauron,
Do you really want to risk pissing off an army of ghosts?
No. But what I'm saying is, if he had made the deal a little bit differently, right, where he was like, "I need you for two things."
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, of course, he didn't know that he was going to be.
No. I know. I'm just saying though, like, even if he brought him, like, would it have gone back in their face because of Sauron? Would Sauron have some power? Over spirits like that? And that's kind of what I was getting at.
So the one thing that some people bring up on this movie is why didn't they just call the Eagles in the Fellowship of the Ring movie? Pick them up, fly them cross country, just do a little airdrop into the volcano.
Don't have an answer for that.
The Eagles only show up when they want to. Like what the frick, man? Like, right? They only show up to save people. They don't.
Well, there's always the moth first, which made me go like, does the moth turn into the eagle?
No, it's just I'm calling to the other flying beings. Like, what are they doing? They just kind of hanging out up there. Just look at those stupid humans down there fighting. Oh, maybe we'll help them.
Well, and with how terrifying like the Wraith Dragon things are, the fact that the eagles just demolish them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why didn't they?
I'm pretty okay.
Call these.
I might be misremembering this, but I think the Eagles.
Oh, look at what Kat says.
I think the Eagles are more kind of they're giant. They're more this kind of like mythical thing that people tell stories of that nobody's actually seen.
They were in The Hobbit. And they saved
know.
him again.
I don't know. It's just like when the Eagles show up. I think it's Mary is like, oh look, the Eagles are coming back. It's kind of like this big thing. Like so,
Like
I kind of took it as like
Well,
is
they're
like
on vacation.
dragons used to be around and dragons are gone now.
I guess a
And
little
so
fairness is too, right? In The Hobbit, he's Gandalf the Grey, and for most of Lord of the Rings, he's Gandalf the White. He kind of, during his transition in colors, he kind of seems to have lost a little bit of memory.
But they picked him up in the mountain.
I just saying.
Cat, I appreciate you coming by, but they flew to the mountain and picked him up.
Don't fight over the Eagles. She's gonna unsub.
Oh well, it's okay.
Don't take away your thumbs up, please don't.
Just saying. There are some people out in the world be like, look, you could have just Ubered these Eagles within an hour. This all would have been done.
Right now, this is what Cat is saying about JT.
Stupid fat hobbit.
Just saying. Anyways, I'm glad they didn't, but this would have been like a 15-minute short film.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there was a question from Patrick. He wanted, and this is a great question, by the way. He wanted to know what was your favorite movie of the trilogy and why. So I'm gonna start with Beard.
I think probably this one, Return of the King. I always go back and forth between Return of the King and Two Towers. I may have said Two Towers when we were doing that movie because it was fresh on my mind. So they're right there. So I go back and forth between those two. I think the start of the story is very good with Fellowship of the Ring. I especially with this last movie, getting all the resolutions and the Fellowship getting back together, Frodo seeing Gandalf for the first time, because I completely forget that he doesn't know that Gandalf came back. So, yeah, I think probably Return of the King is my favorite.
Okay, all right. Rick, or two?
I would say Two Towers. I think I like that story and just movie overall more. I would actually say how I would rank these films is Two Towers, Fellowship, and then I would actually say Return of the King last.
Okay. I'm going to say, go ahead.
I would say I think the first 2/3 of the film is phenomenal, and the last third is a bit much.
Okay. Fellowship is always my favorite because it's the one that started me into this, like liking these movies, right? It's like your first, like the first Star Wars. So, and it just goes in order. I know it's kind of silly to say. I did find this cool thing. I'm not sure really if it's going to work as I share it, but it is an interactive map.
Oh, wow.
Of kind of like where everybody's, because you kind of get a grasp of like what's going on. So all the Hobbit stuff is up at here, right? Hobbit happens here. And then all the Lord of the Rings stories, here's the Shire, is all down this way. So this is a really cool little map here. So yeah, it tells you time and distance, like Hobbit.
Oh, wow.
You should put the link to that in the chat when we end.
Yeah, so you got time and distance here. So you've got Hobbit and the gold.
Oh, if you could figure out the average stride length for a Hobbit, you could figure out how many steps they probably took.
This site probably did it. So you look here, this one went about 185 days. This was 172 days. And you can see like the stretch of there. You got all kinds of cool stuff here, like 6 degrees of Sauron. That's kind of funny. If you
this is one of the greatest things that's so great about the world that Tolkien built, is he drew these maps and he created these languages and this history and built out things way outside of the story he was actually writing, so that later on, he definitely didn't anticipate an interactive map on the internet, but so many years down the road, we have that detail that we can then play around with and actually find out more information.
Yeah, so here's where Aragorn kind of went. So here's the Fellowship of the Ring, right? Got down to the mountain, Rohan, and then he went this way to go to through the ghost to get the ghost. He went the other route. Then you can see Frodo and Sam, Merry, and then Legolas and Gimli. So about the same path, but it's kind of cool, right? So yeah, I'll put this in the
yeah, I mean, I'm like, now I want to go look at this just because I want to see more of kind of what was going on. That's cool. At the same time, though, with what Beard said, I also feel like all the stuff that he created is also a fault of why this is a tough thing to get into.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much like comparing this to Star Wars, a lot of what was going on in Star Wars, it was all like we all kind of had speculation, which I thought was always fun. If they would kind of talk about something that we didn't know anything about, it was all speculation to it. Where like this one, they talk about stuff, and unless you've read the book, you don't know what's going on. Like that's kind of the downside to Lord of the Rings. One of the negative things that I kind of dislike with it at times.
I get it.
Like, Gimli, son of Bimli, son of Limli. They go through all this. It's like, if you probably read the book, you'd know who all these people
are. Pretty sure he's son of Gloin.
Grandfather of Liberty.
I'm just giving the example, though.
I know.
You hear all these names, and I'm like, it means nothing to me, and I kind of hate that part a little bit. Like I wish I kind of knew some more of that, but again, that's just. I guess if I ever get to read the book, it will become better.
Yeah. Well, you have to read other books too to find out the timelines. But if you wanted to check some things out, that website is pretty neat. It has the maps. It also has like some history stuff to it too. If you notice when I was scrolling through there, so it's fun to check out. And for us, I put that in the private chat in case Rick wanted to spend all evening just.
He's gonna check out now. He's gonna turn his camera off and just start digging through the info.
Yeah. Well, again, we wrapped up the trilogy. This has been a great night hanging out again and kind of reviewing everything. I know you mentioned, R2, that you had some facts.
I do have some short facts. I kind of actually scrambled them up in the.
Are these shorter than the movie?
They're shorter. They're shorter than the 47 endings that we got.
Are they shorter than the tallest dwarf
of Gondor?
Yeah.
Yes, they're shorter than that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to compare it. And just in case you don't know what we're talking about, the shortest dwarf is Beard of Liberty.
It's both glorious and terrifying at the same time.
It is. So we'll just I didn't have time, but you're lucky. I almost made a little video of that.
Oh boy.
So, and if you didn't listen, if you didn't hear it on the Instagram reel, and you go to, after the weekend on Instagram, I didn't do the Return of the King music. I did Return of the Mac.
Yeah. I was actually worried. I thought we were gonna get like a dwarf and like a Speedo or something. So
no. Well, we have those two probably.
Oh no.
So what is your fun fact?
Did you play the facts clip? I couldn't remember.
Oh no, I can play the fun facts clips. Thanks. Once I find it.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
All right. Since John Rhys Davies suffered constant rashes from wearing the Gimli makeup, the makeup department gave him the opportunity to throw his Gimli mask into the fire on his last day of pickup. He didn't hesitate at a moment to grab and burn it.
You cut out there for a little bit, actually.
Oh, okay. So John Rhys Davies, who plays Gimli, suffered constant rashes from wearing the makeup. And on his last day of pickup photography, the makeup department gave him the ability to throw the mask into a fire and burn it, and he didn't hesitate to do it.
Okay, so you can't find that one.
Yeah, that is a relic that's long gone. The last spoken line of the movie, "Well, I'm back," is also the last line of the book. Andy Serkis and Elijah Wood were each given prop rings by Peter Jackson used in the movie. They both thought they only had the one. They didn't realize there was multiple rings. The movie made a 1,408% profit for New Line Cinema on their initial outlay.
That's a good investment.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
This is the first fantasy movie to win an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Oh.
And with 11 total, the film broke the record for most Oscar nominations without an acting nomination, surpassing Braveheart, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, with 10 each. Since then, 2 other films have tied this record, Hugo and Life of Pi. The entire first 30 minutes, along with the majority of Sam and Frodo's journey, is from the Two Towers novel, which we mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
They just kind of felt that was a better way to end the last movie, and just move that over to here. The original cut of this film was 4 hours and 15 minutes, and it took a year to cut it down to 3 hours and 12 minutes, which is
only then to later on bulk it back up to about 4.5 hours.
Yeah, which is wild. Some of the lightning storm effects come from news footage from Lawrence, Kansas.
Huh.
Which I thought was a weird but interesting random piece of trivia there. And then lastly, this film contains 1,489 visual effect shots, nearly 3 times the number from the first film and almost twice that of the second.
Wow.
And that's it for my fun facts.
Good job. We have made it to the stream without a Vader clip, so we're doing pretty good.
There's still time.
No, there isn't. All right, so we I mean it's bittersweet, right? We had a great January review coming back for 2024 reviewing these movies. And it's made us think that we will may do other trilogies like this. So if there's something out there you would like us to review, there's a lot. We've already done, and we could do like Back to the Future. We can do Cars. We can do Cars if you want to. We could do things like that. We have done The Matrix. We didn't do the other 2. We could do Star Wars. First, we could do that. Princess Bride we've reviewed. Actually, Kat, we've done that. I don't know if it's a trilogy, but we have done Princess Bride.
We have.
We did that in last April or May when I was moving to Texas. So there are other trilogies out there. If you want us to do, let us know, and we will do them for you. So, but February,
or even just standalone movies too. Just suggest a way.
Suggest a way. I'm just saying. Now for February, Love is in the Air.
I love you. You love me.
So we're doing a first here on After the Weekend, and we were going to review rom-coms from our past.
Now that we're a channel of nothing but dudes.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun. We're going to do some rom-coms. We will tell you what they will be later, but we have a list. We already have them going, but we're excited about it. And we have a special guest for one of them coming on to review. So we're excited about that in the month of February. So, yes. So, yeah, it's been fun. So, final thoughts on all 3 movies in the review.
To put it very succinctly, epic.
Yeah.
Everything from their creation to just the scale of production, the final product, everything is epic.
I would say I would add to that, and I would say masterpiece, right? Yeah.
I
What
would
are you gonna
say
say?
one of the best film trilogies.
One of the best. Okay. All right.
He's just looking for a fight. He's just looking for a fight.
I love it. Alrighty. Rick, do you have any special quotes to end on?
I don't. I thought that was for Weekend Harder. I'm sorry.
No, I thought maybe you had like a cool Lord of the Rings.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, have a good, safe week. And we'll see you next time on After the Weekend on Monday, and then our next Saturday show, I think, is February 10th. So yeah, we'll see you then. Yeah. But everyone, you have a good, safe week, and we will see you next time on After the Weekend. Later. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe if you're new. Please do that. Thank you. All right. See you.
Bye.